Thank you for tuning in to our Sectional 6 preview exclusively on the Central Indiana Sports Report. Welcome, high school football fans, to the Central Indiana Sports Report for our Sectional 6 preview. Coming up, I'll give you the sectional draw for Sectional 6 along with the top storylines. Then Michelle Garmon of the Tipton Tribune and Elwood Call Leader and I spoke with new Indianapolis Star prep editor Kyle Neddenriep about what to expect from Sectional 6. Then Michelle and I were joined by Grant Shouse of the Action Sports Network to predict our sectional champion. Please do us a huge favor if you like this podcast. Please share it and hit the like button. I know hitting the like button sounds stupid. It does help spread the podcast to a wider audience, and we could really use that to continue to grow. And if you love Central Indiana sports, you should probably subscribe to the Central Indiana Sports Report. We also previewed sectionals 3, 4, 5, 12, and 13 and predicted the champions for all of those. We also previewed the semifinals from sectionals 27 and 36. And on Thursday, Michelle, Grant, and I previewed and made our predictions for all of Central Indiana's Week 11 games in the sectional semifinals. We'll be back on Friday with our high school football scoreboard show around midnight. Then on Saturday, we'll debut part 2 of the scoreboard show, The Aftermath, a conversation with local media and coaches about the sectional semifinals. And the sectional semifinals in Sectional 6 are reigning 5A state champion Decatur Central. The Hawks are 7-2 and ranked 8th in the state against 2-7 North Central in Indianapolis. Decatur Central lost its first 2 games of the season to Avon and New Palestine, and then promptly won their next 7 games. The Hawks and Panthers last played in 1998 and have never played in the postseason. North Central comes in on a 4-game losing streak. On the other half of the draw is where the good one is, and that is number 6 Lawrence North at home against number 13 Lawrence Central. The Bears are 4-5. The host Wildcats are 7-2. North beat Central 34-27 at home in the season opener, their 5th straight win in the rivalry, including a 49 win in last year's sectional opener. Lawrence North's 3rd straight season where they've won at least 7 games. I believe that's the first time in program history they've ever done that. They have won 6 of their last 7 games. Lawrence Central has lost 3 of its last 4, but last week seemed to have second-ranked Carmel beat, so North will be very wary of Central if they weren't already. The winner of the Lawrence North-Lawrence Central game will host Decatur Central or North Central in the Sectional 6 championship game. Please stay tuned for Kyle Neddenriep of the Indianapolis Star. We continue our preview of Sectional 6, and we welcome in the Indianapolis Star's Kyle Neddenriep to talk about one of the few sectionals in the state with 2 defending sectional champions, including a defending 5A state champion, Decatur Central. And we talked about some of these sectionals. There are a couple of teams that can win it, but this one seems like there are 3 that could win it.
Yeah, I think so. Maybe didn't think that even, last week or 2 weeks ago, I guess. But, LC goes out and almost beats Carmel. And I think that after I heard what that score was kind of tracking that game throughout the night. Like, man, LC did not go away. Carmel had to score late. So LC's got a team this year under Will Patterson that, is very experienced in some areas. They've got a quarterback, Santana Allen, who's really good, a senior. Albert Gooden, the running back, a senior. They've got some good linemen. They've had some trouble stopping people at times, but they do have some players on that side of the ball too. It's weird though that, Ben Davis beat them the week before that. They lost 31-30 to Ben Davis in a weird game. They got blasted by Center Grove a few weeks before that. There's no shame in losing to Center Grove. That was surprised me they got shut out in that game. So they've been kind of up and down. But one thing you can always count on with LC and LN most of the time is that these games will be close. And again, we talked about Brownsburg and Avon knowing each other. These schools are probably even more so. LC and LN, definitely no secrets between these teams. LN, though, having covered them a couple times this year, they're just going to be really tough to stop. for anybody.
Name one.
Even even Brownsburg and some of these best teams, I think will have trouble stopping LN just because they're so good on offense. Xavier Moore, I've compared him to like a Barry Sanders type of running back. He's just so explosive and just he can make you miss in a phone book. He's so good. And then Monchin Sales, their receiver, is outstanding as well. So, playmakers on that side of the ball for LN. LC's got some of the same type of guys. I think this will be a close game, but I think LN is probably the pick to win.
Of course, the first game they met the first time at the beginning of the season in a 7-point game. So Lawrence North won. So one of these teams is going to also end their season against the other.
Yeah, and it's no fun when that happens, when it's against your biggest rival. You always expect these teams to end up playing each other at some point, and it usually does happen. And last year these teams were close in the first game, and then LN blew them out in the sectional first round. So that LN team, though, last year I think was a little bit better than this LN team. That team was undefeated in the regular season. They're ranked number 1 by the time we got to the sectional. They went to Brownsburg and lost that heartbreaker in the regional by 1 point. They're in field goal range, and then had a penalty, and then missed a field goal, and then that allowed Brownsburg to come down and win it. And it was just a tough finish. One of the most heartbreaking. I was walking the sideline that night for LN on LN's side, and it was just one of the most heartbreaking finishes you could ever imagine from a team. But that team really thought they were going to win it all. This team's probably still very good. Maybe not quite as good defensively as that team was. They lost a lot of senior talent on that side of the ball. But this team's scary too. Any team that plays them is going to have to outscore them, because LN's going to find ways to score. The 2 times I've seen them this year, man, they have just been so good. The game they lost was to Center Grove, and again, that game went right down to the wire. They had the ball down about to score. They lost 38-35, but they're right there at the end of the game. Center Grove actually came down and scored to win that one late, but they're going to be tough to stop. Again, LC, I would not be shocked if they really gave them a tough game and maybe even win. I give them a chance to win it if they play well.
How would it be a huge surprise if Decatur Central just kind of flew in under the radar? They're entering the tournament on a 7-game win streak. Could they possibly stun some people and take that sectional?
They could. I was talking to a coach the other day about who played Decatur, and said, hey, if there's any team that can hang with LN in that sectional, he thinks it's Decatur because of the speed factor and the fact that they can guard LN's speedy guys on offense. That's kind of Decatur's strength also. So that would be a fascinating game. Decatur and LN, I think, would be a really good track meet type game. Casimir Hicks for Decatur is just extremely fast and quick, and so there'd be just a lot of it'd be a lot of fun. It almost feel like a 7-on-7 game, in some ways. It's just a lot of skill position talent. And the question with Decatur is, can they hang with these 6A teams? They're not even a 6A team. They're playing up because success factor. So, they're not traditionally, they don't have this many students. They're not as big a school. The question I know the coaching staff had is, can we hang with a 6A team for 4 quarters? And I think they've proven they can. I'm not saying they can't. I think that's just if they're going to make a tournament run, maybe that's the question about them. If there's any team that Decatur's had, it's this one. They're really good and talented. So we're about to find out. I think they'll handle North Central. I'd be surprised if that's a super close game. But again, Decatur, we just don't know, because they just don't play these teams a lot. So there's a little bit of mystery from that standpoint.
Yeah, it'd be quite fascinating to see a Lawrence North Decatur Central final, but we will see. Kyle, thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it.
You bet.
And we just heard from Kyle Neddenriep, back with Grant Shouse of the Action Sports Network, Michelle Garmon of the Tipton Tribune, and Elwood Call Leader, here to make our sectional championship picks. And some of these have been pretty cut and dry. I don't think this one is. Lawrence North is the favorite, but I think there are 3 teams that could win this one, Michelle.
Oh, yeah. Lawrence Central is going to give Lawrence North everything they want on Friday night. I do think that Lawrence North just has
I think they had the best player in this sectional.
Maybe the best too, with Monsoon Sales too.
Yes, I think best too. And because of that, I think that talent is just going to be enough to propel them up over Lawrence Central. I think Decatur Central is going to roll in the first game. And I think they're good enough that if there is any hangover or if that Central North game is close and that they could possibly get an upset in the championship. But I do think it's this sectional is Lawrence North to lose.
I like Lawrence North to win it. They're well-rounded, good program, good coach. Give me the Wildcats.
Yeah, Decatur Central, they're defending 5A champions, and they've proven themselves, but they have not proven themselves against really good 6A competition. Oh, you're right, they're going to roll past North Central for their 8th win in a row. But I think this is Zaymore and the Lawrence North Wildcats sectional. Man, it's fun watching Zaymore run the ball for Lawrence North. Kind of hope they continue to win just so we can see Zaymore and the Wildcats a few more weeks. Thanks so much to Michelle and Grant for being so giving of their time and joining the Central Indiana Sports Report. And, of course, to Kyle Neddenriep of the Indianapolis Star. Congratulations on his promotion, his new job. We know he will do a great job at it. We thank him for being a friend to the podcast as well. And thank you so much for listening. Please check out our sectional 3, 4, 5, 12, 13, 27, or 36 previews. Our Week 11 sectional preview and prediction podcast. And join us on Friday night for our scoreboard show. Thanks for listening. Please keep coming back. The Central Indiana Sports Report is a product of ITG Media. And I love Susie.